Hello, it's Ana Pacheco, SantaFe101.com. My guest today is Miguel Serrano, and he's with the Human Resources Department for the Las Cruces Public Schools. Miguel, do I have your permission to record this interview?
Yes, you do, Ms. Pacheco.
Oh, excellent. Well, Miguel, let's just talk a little bit about, in case somebody's, watching this interview and they may be interested and maybe they're relocating to southern New Mexico, the Las Cruces area, or maybe they're already in Las Cruces and they're maybe looking at doing a career change. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on currently with the Las Cruces Public Schools and what kind of openings and availabilities there may be right now.
Thank you. First and foremost, thank you for this opportunity to talk to you about the opportunities we have here in what I consider the best district, not only in New Mexico, but the best district in the country, Las Cruces Public Schools. As far as availability, and I know we touched up a little bit on this topic, and it could be COVID, it could not be, but recently we have had more retirements and resignations, a little bit more than usual in my previous years here. This is my 5th year here in Las Cruces Public Schools. But we definitely have had multiple job fairs in the areas that we're definitely seeking help with is in the area of teaching, in the area of math, bilingual, and special education. And one of our biggest needs, and I think it's a big need across New Mexico and the country right now, is substitute teachers. And we've actually just recently raised the pay for a minimum of $100 a day. And it could go up to 125 based on years of experience, licensure, et cetera, to hopefully attract more candidates to come and be substitute teachers in our district. So definitely, if you're a college student or somebody that wants to help and serve our students in any capacity in the classroom, we really invite you to come and join us in our school district. Another area of high need is SLPs, speech language pathologists, SLPs. And that's a big need. So if you're interested in joining us, we also have vacancies there.
Well, let me just ask you before we go further, in terms of, let's go back to the substitute teachers. You mentioned something about licensing, licenses. Do you have to have a license to become a substitute teacher? Do you have to be a college graduate? What are the requirements to be a substitute teacher in New Mexico?
That's a great question. You do not have to have a licensure, like per se, in teaching or anything like that. But if you are going to be a substitute teacher in New Mexico, you do have to get a license. And our department is equipped to help you get that license. And I think as early as college students, they don't have to be college graduates. College students are able to apply and get the assistance from our department. And our number is 575-52-5800. You can call us and you can speak to Jesse Perio. As a matter of fact, we have a virtual job fair this Thursday, actually tomorrow. If you're interested in joining us, I don't know if this will air by then, but we constantly are in need of substitute teachers. So if you're interested, please call us. We'll set up an appointment and an interview, and we'll review your credentials. One of the things that the state does require is that it does require that you have some type of experience in working with children as a pre-requirement to being a substitute teacher. So what we do, if you don't have that, we are able to give you a field experience time in the classroom so you can meet that requirement before you start working in our district as a substitute teacher. There's a big need, and we really welcome you. That's really that is our biggest project this summer, is to hire as many substitute teachers as are wanting to come to join this great district. Thank you for the question.
Is there an age requirement? I mean, in terms of like a limit, like, I mean, maybe a lot of people might retire to Las Cruces because it's beautiful and it's more affordable than, say, Santa Fe or other parts of northern New Mexico. I mean, is there like an age cutoff? I mean, if you're in good health, could you be a substitute teacher and be 75 or 80? Or is there a certain age range where you kind of like, well, probably not anymore? Or what do you think about that?
Great question. We don't discriminate on age. You could be as old as you, if you're able to come and work and you're ready to work and you're healthy, you come to work. I mean, the age is not a condition of employment for us. We do not discriminate on age, whether it be a young age or an older age. We support you. We have substitute teachers. For example, some of our retired teachers that have been in the district for 40 plus years, they retire and they want to come back as substitute teachers. They do a great job.
Well,
So age, Age is not a condition of our employment, and we will not discriminate based on age. So
Let me
that's a great
ask you
question.
about that license again. How long does it take? Is there a cost involved for the license? How long does it take to get it? And I'm assuming the license means that there's some kind of a serious background check. Of course, you want the students to have it be safe. So is that what is required, is like a background check? And does it cost the person who may want to be a substitute teacher, do they have to pay for this license?
That's a great question. And we do, any employee or volunteer in our district will have to go through the criminal background check, and they will have to be approved to work in our district and be with children, and go through the process through HR to get that background reviewed by our department. So anybody coming into our district will go through that process. And then to answer your other question, the cost involved, there are some costs involved, like any licensure. Now it's electronically. When we went through COVID, the public education department went through an electronic process. So it's been streamlined, it's very efficient. People can do it in their computer. They can pay with a credit card or a debit card. But the good news, and as far as those costs, you can call us. I don't have the exact cost in front of me to get a license in New Mexico, but the one thing that I can tell you is that the background check that is typically, I believe, $44, the district will pay for that initial background check, so you work for our district.
Okay, and I'm assuming that if you're bilingual, if you're fluent, a fluent Spanish speaker, that would be an added plus, correct? Because you probably have a high percentage of bilingual children in the Las Cruces Public Schools.
That's a great point, and you are 100% correct on that. And obviously, the other thing that we will not discriminate, you do not have to be bilingual to become a substitute teacher in our district. Most of the job openings in our district obviously require fluency in English because you're working with the students, but it is a big plus, just like you said. Some of our bilingual classrooms that we do have, and we have plenty of bilingual classrooms and plenty of bilingual students, migrant students, as you mentioned, in this community that we really love and appreciate, and we want to give them the full support. So when we do have applicants that are bilingual, and that a lot of them want to assist us in maybe substituting for a Spanish class at the high school, or even working with the little ones at the elementary or the youngsters at the middle school, definitely that's a big plus, because sometimes they're able to assist the students in with Spanish, for example, in their native language. So that is a definite plus. But we will not, we will hire you whether you're bilingual or not. We do have a high need. What we definitely want is for you to be eager and passionate about helping and supporting kids in the classroom. That's the number one thing. Just to let you know, we do hire you, but applicants that want to be substitute teachers, they go through an interview process. There is an interview process. One of our HR administrators, to include me, will interview them to make sure, obviously, it's something they want to do and that they would be a great fit for our students.
And then is this interview process, is it via Zoom, or do you have to come in person?
Yes, during the pandemic, and we're still doing that. That's a great question. And we probably will continue through the summer. Eventually, we might go back face-to-face interviews, but we're continuing to do all our interviews via Zoom. So like the ones for tomorrow, for July 1st, they have to send an email to Jesse Perio, is JPAREO@lcps.net, or call the front office to schedule it at 575-5800. And then we'll schedule you, schedule you through a Zoom link, just kind of like how we're doing this interview here. We'll schedule you and do an interview that way. And then at the time, we not only interview you to be a substitute teacher, but we go over all the licensure procedures and some of the questions you've had. Everybody will get that information up front, the cost. The district will be able to take over the cost of the initial background check, and just kind of going over that information. So we probably spend with every person that applies about 20 to 30 minutes to go over that information.
And of course, this interview is being, it's taking place now in the summer, but but it's going to be available on my website for a longer period of time. So in other words, so basically, it sounds to me that there's such a need that, that's not, you could apply for these jobs year round, and you might be able to find a position because there's such a need. Is that correct?
Yes, and you bring this. This is a very important point that you bring up. We are hiring year round in Las Cruces Public Schools. And here in New Mexico, people can retire every quarter. So, for example, July, August, September. So there's people that after the first quarter of the school year will retire, right? And there's people that will retire in December. There's people that will retire in the quarter of March, end of March, and then obviously end of June. Or teachers. So there's always job postings, and where you need to go is very simple. Is www.lcps.net, as
Okay.
in Las Cruces Public Schools.net.
Okay. And then there'll be a link. Will it be like careers or
You go,
something?
you
Is there
go
a drop down?
careers or human resources. It'll take you to AppleTrack, and every day you'll see all the job postings for administration, for custodians, for food service workers, for teachers, for substitute teachers, and you click there. And then I recommend to people that really want to join our exemplary team here in Las Cruces Public Schools, as I mentioned, the best district in the country, that you check every week, because new postings come up every week. The beauty of it about it, and people that actually work in Las Cruces Public Schools, that I send the link every Friday with new employees, and they get it. But if you're an external applicant, like most people that will be listening to this interview, I would invite you to go to the website and check the vacancies every week.
Once a week. Okay. And then, so now we've talked about substitute teaching. Then you mentioned there's a huge need. I think you said for speech pathologists, or what was the term that you used?
The speech language pathologists.
What is that?
It's SLPs. And
What-
they get a degree, and I think for that position they need a master's degree, and they're employees that work with students that have language impairments, and they need help with that. So they work at the schools, and they schedule the kids every week, and they give them that support. And that is an area of big need. Up until last year, and it might be different this year, we were fully staffed for the first time since I've been here. And I know one of the things that I know this might not be what this interview is about, but I will brag about the fact that since I've been here for the last 4.5 years and moving, we decreased our vacancy rates dramatically. I think we were probably one of the only districts our size or bigger in the country that in January had zero teacher vacancies during COVID, because we work real hard at our job fairs. So that's why anytime we have an opportunity like with you, Ms. Pacheco, thank you for this opportunity and this invitation to really promote our district and get the word out about people wanting to come to our great district. We really take those opportunities. We thank those opportunities. We thank you for this opportunity, because we are doing a great job in filling these vacancies, but it's obviously a lot of promotion that we do.
You were also mentioning, I think, like math. You need math teachers. What are the types of teachers that you might need? Or you at least can see down the pipeline that that so-and-so is retiring. What are some of the other areas in education that somebody may be watching this and they have a degree in that, or they're getting a degree in that? What are other areas that Las Cruces Public Schools may be looking at in the near future in terms of teachers?
Thank you. In terms of teachers, we always need teachers in different areas: music, fine arts, etc. But right now, I think the current need, and we've done a great job again through our job fairs. We've done a lot of virtual job fairs for teachers. We were having them every 2 weeks. We've been able to attract a lot of people from out of town, as far as you might name it, Connecticut, California, that want to come and come to New Mexico, come to specifically to Las Cruces. But right now, the specific needs that we have are special education, math, and bilingual. We still have a few openings. So if you want to join our great district, you still have a great opportunity to apply. And we have a few teaching positions that we definitely need to fill as soon as possible. Our goal is to have starting August 3rd, when the teachers come back and the students come back to the classroom, August 3rd, 2021, our goal is to have every class with a certified teacher in a classroom to teach those kids, and avoiding obviously having to have a substitute start the classroom, the teaching in the school year, because obviously that's not the best for kids. We know that a certified teacher is the best route for our students instead of having a substitute teacher.
Right.
So,
And then so let me just, so like you mentioned exactly what you said, California, Connecticut, people are looking to move here. And that's exactly why I have this website and these interviews. So maybe people want to move, and Las Cruces is beautiful. It's affordable. What if they just want to work part-time? So let's talk a little bit. You mentioned custodians. I mean, what about bus drivers? What about people that work in the cafeteria? I mean, do you hire people that like monitor the playgrounds? What are like maybe part-time jobs? Because people, maybe they're retiring and they do want to
yes.
do something, but they don't want a full-time job. What type of job availabilities do you have in that area?
Great points. Great points. If the people want to retire and maybe do still contribute to the schools, and I know our monitors, we thank them for their hard work and taking care of our kids and in the crosswalks, etc., and in the playgrounds and taking care of our kids. We call those temporary employees, part-time employees. We do have availability for jobs in those areas, and a high need area. And I'm glad you brought it up. I would have kill myself if I didn't bring it up or if this didn't come up in this interview. So great job, great question in bringing that up. Is right now we have a dire need in the community for food service workers. We have, I want to say, about maybe 70 vacancies. So we're probably going to do a job fair soon. You mentioned bus drivers. Even though we contract our bus drivers, we don't hire them from HR from my office. We do promote it, and the company that we contract with is looking for bus drivers. It's an area of high need, and obviously we need our kids to be transported safely to our schools. So that's a big area. Custodians, we still have some vacancies there, and we still have some security guard positions available. Obviously, I want to give kudos to our district and nurse assistants as well. I think we're the only district that has a nurse assistant and a nurse in every school. And then the other thing too, that we're going to elevate it to the next level this year, is that as far as keeping our campuses safe, we're going to have a security guard or an SRO, a school resource officer, a police officer in every campus, working in collaboration with Las Cruces, the Las Cruces community, the city of Las Cruces in partnership. So there's a need everywhere right now. In our district, there's positions in every area. There's even positions in central office secretaries. Right now, we have multiple positions. If you want to be a head secretary and you want to work with the schools and support us, and obviously we understand our classified employees are of the utmost importance in supporting our teachers and our schools and our students. Without our support teams and our support personnel, our campuses would not be successful.
And
So every position.
what does classified employee mean?
That's okay. Certified employees are people that have a certificate, like teachers, administrators. In the classified are employees that support, for example, custodians, secretaries, cafeteria workers. Those are classified. And we do have two unions. The NEA supports obviously the certified employees, and our CSEC of Las Cruces supports our classified employees. So the classified are the support personnel, and the certified are the certified teachers and counselors and administrators at the schools.
And pardon me, I don't know how this works, but I'm going to ask this next question. What about sports? Do you hire like PE teachers or coaches, or is that all volunteer work, or how does sports work into the Las Cruces Public Schools in terms of hiring?
Great question, and I'll divide that question in two because there's two components. You did bring up the PE, physical education. So we don't have a great need right now that I know about, so I didn't bring them up, but sometimes we do have vacancies. You got to look at the websites for that at our lcps.net website. But we do have physical education teachers at every campus that support our students with the physical education component. Now, to go to the second part of that question, a lot of our physical education teachers also coach after school programs like middle school and high school physical education, or maybe intramurals at the elementary school. But because of the need is so much in our school district to have coaches that actually coach after school, whether they coach football, cheerleading, they coach soccer, basketball, volleyball, you name it, we do contract out part-time employees that want to be coaches, and we do pay stipends for that. That people that want to coach, and obviously we welcome you in Las Cruces. We cannot get enough people to help us coach those students, and we pay stipends for those. And a lot of those folks have regular jobs. Some of them work at the electric company and they come coach after school and on weekends. Some of them, they're not all of our coaches that support extracurricular activities after school are actually employed during the day by LCPS, Las Cruces Public Schools. And then we also, an extra component that we have at the high schools and middle schools to support our kids, even for safety, that really help us with the COVID-19 protocols, to have more people there to help our kids kind of spread out and keep smaller groups during COVID, is we also have the high schools and middle school have what we call volunteer coaches that have to go through the volunteer background check. And they're people that just kind of want to get back to the community they coach, but they're not on the payroll.
So there's a lot of opportunity if people are watching this. And again, like I said, maybe part-time work, some of the retirees that are moving to Las Cruces. So we're at the end of the interview, and I just want to ask you this question because you said it twice at the beginning, that you believe Las Cruces Public School District is the best school district in the country. I would like you to quickly elaborate about that statement.
Thank you. I say it every time I speak. I know I said it twice, so this will be the third time that I'll say it right now officially. We are the best district in the country in this interview. And I believe what makes us unique and the best in the country and really above the rest is that we do follow that statement that we are here for kids. And we take that very seriously. So like even in my HR role, anytime we interview, anytime we look for the best people to come and work with our kids, and I mentioned it, one example is we were a district that took it personal that we will not use COVID as an excuse. And in January, we were the only district with no teacher vacancies because our kids come first. So in this district, we were going to make sure that we're number one, we're second to none.
Okay, and then I just want to ask you too. So how many do you have more than one public high school? How large, like how many middle schools, high schools, and elementary schools do you have there?
Yes, great question. We have a total of like 41 schools. We have an alternative school in Rio Grande Preparatory, or GPI. We have, as far as comprehensive high schools, we have 4. Oñate, which is tomorrow is going to be Oregon Mountain High School. We have Mayfield, we have Centennial, we have Las Cruces. Middle schools, we have about 6 to 8 middle schools in the whole district, and then the rest are elementaries.
And how large in terms of numbers? Like, what is the average size each year of the entire school body? Is it 15,000? I don't know. I'm just throwing out numbers.
No, that's a great question. Our district, I know when I came in, when we've decreased in the total of enrollment of students a little bit, and COVID obviously was part of a factor this year. But when I came here, 4.5 years ago, we were at about close to 25,000 students. Right now, we're in the like 23,500 students.
Okay. Well,
that will be enrolled in our district this coming.
And so we are going to end the interview now. Is there anything you want to end with? Of course, I'm going to go ahead and put your website and all that information will accompany the interview. But is there any parting words that you'd like to share with our viewers today?
Well, the parting words are, number one, Ms. Ana Pacheco, thank you so much for this great opportunity to showcase our vacancies and showcase the great things that our district is doing for kids. On behalf of the superintendent, Mr. Ralph Ramos, who is our new superintendent, doing great things for kids on behalf of HR and the whole district. I just want to thank you and welcome anybody that is interested in joining the best district in the country by visiting www.lcps.net, going to career opportunities or going through human resources and clicking on those as much as possible, and then interviewing with us. And then joining our team, and knowing that when you join our team, we do great things for kids here, and that the expectation is that we're going to work hard, one employee at a time and one student at a time, to make sure that this district is doing great things for kids.
Excellent. And for sure, everybody who's watching this, check back at least weekly for job opportunities with the Las Cruces Public Schools. Miguel Serrano, I want to thank you so very much for this interview.
Thank you, Ms. Pacheco. Thank you for your time, and I want to wish you a great rest of your summer. Thank you so much.
Take care.